Every cycle has one meme coin that defines the narrative. Last cycle, it was DOGE and SHIB. This cycle, I think the signs are clear. There's going to be multiple. But one of the ones that is clear as day to me right now is Pengu, because it's positioning to be that winner. And in today's video, I'm going to explain exactly why. So first, we're going to take a look at the Pengu chart and see what opportunities we have ahead of us and how high we're potentially going. And as of right now, we can see that Pengu has had a monstrous run since the end of June all the way up to the end of July. So a month of up-only price action. We haven't really had any pullbacks. And as you guys can see right now, we're up about 400%, hitting the all-time high we had back in the beginning of the year in January. We had a monstrous fall, about 90%, and that was the max opportunity for us to grab some Pengu there. I don't know a lot of people that did, but the good news is there's still opportunity here because where we're going is going to shock everybody. So as of right now, what I'm looking for Pengu is an entry because it's going to be one of those opportunities you wish you took in a couple of months. And as you guys can see, I've got this yellow spot marked out on the chart, which is where I think we're going to go. We haven't really had a massive pullback on Pengu, and I think a 30% pullback is going to be the opportunity that we want to take here, especially with the momentum Pengu is carrying right now. Now, the next question is, where are we going after we take this entry? Well, currently, if we take a look at Pudgy Penguins right here, we can see it's valued about $2.6 billion. And at the height of 2021's bull cycle, Doge was able to head to about $70 billion at the end of the cycle. This cycle, meme coins are going to be bigger than last cycle because each cycle they continue to get bigger and bigger. And given that Pudgy Penguins have seen such huge success with their brand, we can assume that we're at least going to capture a third of what Doge was able to accomplish with nothing. So with that said, after I get the entry down here at about 0.3, we're going to be looking for a break of the high and a move towards this candle. And our first target is going to take us about 100% to the upside. I don't think that's going to be just it though, because especially when we break this all-time high, this is going to turn into support. So we could expect a move like this back down and then take us to these higher levels. At the end of this cycle, I do expect Pudgy Penguins to be worth at the very least $30 billion, which would take us to about not exactly 40 cents, give or take 10% each way. And that would be my conservative target. My higher, more bullish target would take us double that to about 80 cents. And that would put us about $50 billion on the Pudgy Penguin side. Now, a lot of people won't believe this until it happens. It happened with Doge. But the things you guys need to remember is that Pudgy Penguins has extended beyond just being an NFT, beyond just being a meme coin. It's actually a lot more than that. And we're going to get into why here. Now, the history of Pudgy Penguins is that they started as an NFT collection, but later evolved into a Web3 ecosystem with real-world merchandise. So they've got toys in stores. They've also got games where people can play. They've created a whole IP and brand around the penguins. And not only that, but a lot of people don't know they actually have their own chain, which is called Abstract, which we'll get into later. But over here, you can see a post from ICO Beast. He talks about Abstract and Pudgy Penguins. He says that Pudgy Penguins and Abstract are the clear leader and winner at the moment. Both have created a strong base of believers and have pushed into real-world awareness larger than CT. And if you guys don't know, Pudgy Penguins has applied for a Pengu ETF, meaning institutional money can actually invest in Pudgy Penguins, which is huge. It hasn't been approved just yet, but it's out there. The narrative alone can carry some weight. Now, if we go on to DeFi Llama to check out what's going on within the Abstract ecosystem, which belongs to Pudgy Penguins, we can see since the beginning of the year, DEX volume has continued to increase until May. Then we had the June FUD month, and now we're back on the all-time high track. Not only that, we can also see net inflows of people bridging into the Abstract ecosystem has increased, and it actually doubled from just last month. Last month, we were at about $20 million in inflows, and we can see that we are currently sitting at $40 million. Now, the thing to pay attention to here is the DEX volume, because this is what's going to be really important going into the next few months, especially as Pudgy Penguins begin to break to the all-time highs. And if you guys didn't know, fun fact, these are the Penguin NFTs, and they're each worth about $64,000. And not everybody has $64K to spend on one single NFT, which is why the Pengu meme coin is going to be very important to reaching these all-time highs, and why I think it's going to do so is because Pengu as a coin is more accessible to a lot of people than the NFTs are. And not only that, when we begin to see a lot of people miss out on this Pengu trade, and we're at $26 billion or $30 billion, where do you think they're going to go? They're going to go towards the ecosystem as a beta play, which is why I'm mentioning it right now. So back to the volume. The thing you want to pay attention to is the DEX volume, because usually net inflows precedes volume on these DEXs. And as we can see right here, we had the May month pop off all-time high. We had a drop off for the FUD month, and we're back to almost creating an uptrend. So we need to see how August is going to turn out. Then we have to see how September is going to turn out. But I do anticipate As inflows increase, so will the volume on these dexes, which means the coins on Abstract are also going to do really well. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, there are coins on Abstract. It's very early days and extremely risky because we don't know if this ecosystem is going to survive. But if this trend does continue to the upside, I wouldn't be surprised for Abstract to capture some liquidity on their chain as well. And the great thing about this is that we're extremely early. The second biggest meme coin on this chain is going to be Abstract at about $30 million. So you need to compare this to Doge, for instance. You've got Doge, and then the second biggest meme coin on Ethereum is Shiba Inu. So you can consider Abstract sitting at $30 million being the Shiba Inu to kind of get an idea of how early we are if this does run. Pengu, currently the biggest one on the chain, you guys can see. YGG is actually a bridge token from Ethereum, so it's not native to Abstract. And then from there are the real coins launched on here. So there are a couple of communities that have done well. Notably, we have Abster, Newt, Poly. Those are the top three right now on the chain. Doesn't mean they will always be the top three because we have coins like Gunner who have done extremely well in a short amount of time. If you guys take a look at this, that's about a 20x in 20 days. Insane gains to be made, which is why I'm bringing this up to you guys right now. That's about a 10x in 30 days. Probably needs a bit of cooldown before we head back up, but this is just one of the coins that is showing a lot of strength with Pengu hitting all-time highs almost. And then another coin we can see here is God, the dyslexic dog. They're actually trying to create an IP and brand on the Abstract chain, which is why I'm bullish on them, and one that I shared with my Telegram group, and I'll be keeping a close eye on as we head into August and September. So there are other communities worth mentioning here, like IC, Pengu, and a bunch of different ones. I haven't gone through all of them. I've only scanned a few of them and looking for ones that have social presence as well as founders who are doxed and you can trust. And the great thing about the Abstract chain is that it's not like Solana where there's a new meme coin popping up every day. Instead, there's a handful of coins that you can research and see which ones you actually like without being overwhelmed by choice and without liquidity being sucked out of each one of them. And that makes it easier to pick a coin. It makes it easier to not keep bouncing and rotating from one coin to the other. It's a different ecosystem than Solana, which I feel like there's a lot of JITs in there and rotators. So I would say get acquainted with the space and see what meme coins have the communities you like, because these coins have the potential to run into hundreds of millions if Pengu actually runs to $20 to $30 billion. Because of human psychology, people are going to look for betas of the coin that's actually running. Now back to the Pengu chart. The crazy thing with Pengu is that this run has happened with a very small break in Bitcoin dominance. If we go over here to Bitcoin dominance, you guys can take a look that it hasn't really been that big of a break with a 10x move on Pengu. That means if Bitcoin continues to break down and especially breaks this trend line right here and heads back to about 43%, you can imagine what happens with a 30% drop in dominance compared to a 5 or 6% drop in dominance. What's going to happen to the price of Pengu? And that's why I'm saying a lot of people are underestimating what can happen with meme coins, especially the stronger meme coins in this space, this cycle. So when I say $20 to $30 billion is on the table, I think that's being conservative. I think we can head higher, but for now, we're going to take it week by week, month by month, and see where we end up by September. I do think August is going to be half a bloody month, and that's going to bring us the entry we're looking for on Pengu. We're not even that far away. It's only a 23% drop from here, so not much to wait. I imagine crypto tends to move fast. So once we get that dip out of the way, we can aim our sights to all-time highs and beyond. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what you guys want to see. I'll continue pushing videos 3 times a week, and I'll see you guys again on the next one.